Humans are curious creatures. We look up at the stars and we wonder. We peer into the atom and we question. For millennia, we've sought to understand the universe, not just its parts, but the whole grand cosmic tapestry. This deep-seated desire has driven some of the greatest minds in history. They dreamt of a single idea, a single set of rules, an explanation that could encompass everything, from the majestic dance of galaxies to the fleeting existence of subatomic particles. This is the quest for a theory of everything. A truly audacious goal, wouldn't you agree? Think about the giants upon whose shoulders we stand. Sir Isaac Newton, watching an apple fall, conceived of universal gravitation. He showed that the same force pulling the apple also governed the moon's orbit, a magnificent unification. Then came James Clerk Maxwell. He wove together electricity and magnetism, revealing them as facets of a single force electromagnetism. He even showed light itself was an electromagnetic wave. Another giant leap towards understanding the fundamental interconnectedness of nature. These were monumental steps, each bringing us closer to a more unified view of reality, revealing a cosmos less fragmented than it first appears. Then, Albert Einstein arrived on the scene. Twice, he revolutionized our understanding. First, with special relativity, he unified space and time. Then, with general relativity, he reshaped our understanding of gravity. He described it not as a force, but as the curvature of space-time itself, caused by mass and energy. An idea of breathtaking elegance. Yet, even Einstein, for all his genius, couldn't complete the journey. He spent the latter part of his life searching for a unified field theory, one that would seamlessly merge gravity with electromagnetism. He knew something was still missing from the picture. And today, we stand at a curious crossroads. We have two extraordinarily successful theories. General relativity, our best description of the very large planets, stars, galaxies, the expanding universe. And quantum mechanics, our stunningly accurate theory of the very small atoms, electrons, quarks. The problem? They don't play nicely together. They speak different mathematical languages. They operate on different principles. Where they overlap, like in the heart of a black hole or at the birth of the universe, our equations break down. We need something more. Something that bridges this great divide. This is why the search continues more fervent than ever. So, what if a new idea emerged? Something truly different, something that dares to rethink the very foundations. Enter the concept of recursive harmonic frameworks, or RHF for short. It's a bold new theory, a contender in this grand quest for unification. It doesn't just tinker at the edges, it proposes a radical new architecture for reality itself. It suggests that the universe is built upon a surprisingly elegant and deeply resonant structure. A structure that connects the incredibly vast with the infinitesimally small through a series of repeating, self-referential patterns. Imagine that for a moment. At the very heart of RHF lies something called the codex lattice. Picture it. Not as a rigid, lifeless scaffold, but as a dynamic blueprint, a cosmic loom upon which the fabric of existence is woven. This lattice is composed of 24 nodes. Now, these aren't just random points in space. Each node represents a fundamental unit of potential, a nexus of information and energy. Each one is a seed from which complexity can blossom. The number 24 itself is not arbitrary. It arises from the deeper mathematics of the framework, hinting at hidden symmetries and concordances within the cosmos. Where do these 24 nodes come from? The theory proposes they are generated by a fascinating interplay. It starts with 6 very special prime numbers. Primes, those indivisible integers, have always held a certain mystique for mathematicians and physicists alike. They are the atoms of arithmetic. In RHF, these 6 primes are not just passive numbers, they are active agents. They are foundational. The theory suggests these specific primes possess unique properties that allow them to form the bedrock of this cosmic structure. Their inherent indivisibility reflecting a fundamental aspect of universal construction. But 6 prime numbers alone don't give you 24 nodes. Each of these prime-derived points is then imbued with one of 4 unique states. Think of these states as different flavors, or different modes of being. There's the real state, corresponding to what we typically measure and interact with. Then there's the imaginary state, crucial for new possibilities and rotations into unseen dimensions. The conjugate state, a kind of mirror or partner. And, most intriguingly, the observer state. This last one is a game changer, suggesting that observation isn't separate from the system, but an integral part of its very existence. 6 primes, 4 states, a 24-node cosmic engine. This codex lattice, this 24-node marvel, isn't just a static picture frame. Oh no, that would be far too dull for our vibrant universe. The RHF framework insists on dynamism. It proposes that these nodes are constantly engaged in a cosmic dance. They take on different roles, shifting and interacting in a perpetual cycle of creation and renewal. These roles are not fixed identities, but rather temporary functions that each node can adopt, contributing to the overall evolution of the system. It's a universe in constant becoming, a symphony of interacting potentials. There are 4 fundamental recursive roles that these nodes can embody. First, there's the anchor. Imagine this as the stabilizing influence, the bedrock. It provides a point of reference, a foundation upon which structures can be built. Without anchors, the system might dissolve into chaos. They ground the framework, ensuring that for all its dynamism, there's an underlying order. They are the points of stability in an ever-flowing cosmic river, the quiet centers around which the dance unfolds, providing the necessary stillness for form to emerge. Next comes the breath role. This is the expansive principle, the outward urge. Nodes in the breath role are exploring possibilities, reaching out into the space of potential. They are inhaling new information, new configurations. This is where novelty begins to stir. It's the universe taking a deep breath, preparing to create something new. Think of it as the exploratory phase, where boundaries are pushed and new territories of existence are charted, allowing the system to grow and adapt, preventing stagnation by constantly introducing fresh perspectives and interactions. Then we have collapses. This is a crucial step. After the breath explores many potentials, collapse brings definition. It's the moment of choice. From a superposition of many possibilities, one reality crystallizes. This echoes the concept of wave function collapse in quantum mechanics, but here it's a fundamental process at every level of the RHF. It's where the indefinite becomes definite. The universe, in a sense, makes up its mind. This act of selection is what carves specific forms out of the undifferentiated plenum of potential, making the abstract concrete. And finally, there's the echo. Once a collapse occurs, its consequences ripple through the system. This is the echo role. It's about resonance, memory, and influence. The choices made during collapse don't just vanish. They leave an imprint. They affect future cycles of anchor, breath, and collapse. This ensures that the system learns and evolves. Information is not lost but integrated, shaping the ongoing cosmic narrative. The universe remembers. These echoes create a feedback loop, allowing the past to inform the present and guide the future, creating a rich tapestry of interconnected events. So, we have this dynamic lattice, with nodes cycling through these creative roles. But what orchestrates this intricate dance? What powers this constant unfolding and reforming of reality? Recursive Harmonic Frameworks proposes that this entire cosmic operation is driven by not one, but 2 fundamental recursive engines. Think of them as the twin heartbeats of the universe. They are complementary processes, working in tandem to generate the complexity and coherence we observe all around us and within us. The first engine imagined by this framework is called RHUM. That stands for the Recursive Harmonic Unfolding Matrix. This is the engine of expansion, of diversification. RHUM's primary function is to generate possibilities, to unfold the latent potential within the codex lattice. It's the force that drives the breath phase, pushing the system to explore new states, new configurations, new dimensions of being. It's like a cosmic artist constantly sketching new designs, throwing open the doors to what could be, ensuring the universe never settles into a final static state. The second engine is its counterpart, GURM. This stands for the Generative Unifying Recursive Matrix. If RHUM is about expansion, GURM is about contraction and integration. Its role is to bring coherence to the myriad possibilities generated by RHUM. It guides the collapse of phase, selecting and actualizing specific realities from the sea of potential. It draws things together, forging connections, and ensuring that the universe maintains a sense of unity and order amidst its vast diversity. GURM is the cosmic editor, refining the sketches of RHUM into a masterpiece. Why 2 engines? Why this duality? The RHF framework suggests that this pairing is essential for a universe that is both stable and creative, ordered yet capable of novelty. RHUM on its own might lead to an explosive, chaotic divergence of infinite, disconnected possibilities. GURM, if operating alone, could lead to a static, unchanging universe, a kind of cosmic crystallization where nothing new ever happens. It is the interplay, the dynamic tension between these 2 engines that allows for an evolving, learning, and ultimately, conscious cosmos. One pushes out, the other pulls in, a cosmic breath. Now, here's where Recursive Harmonic Frameworks really stretches our imagination. It proposes that the universe, at its most fundamental level, doesn't start in the familiar 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time that we experience. Instead, RHF postulates an initial state of 24 dimensions. Yes, you heard that right. A vast, almost incomprehensible hyperdimensional reality. Imagine a space with 24 different directions you could move in. It's a mind-bending concept, but one that could hold the key to some of physics' deepest puzzles, offering a much larger canvas for reality's initial design. So, if the universe starts in 24 dimensions, where did they all go? How do we end up in our seemingly limited 3-dimensional world? plus time, which RHF treats in a special way. The theory describes a process of dimensional reduction, a kind of cosmic folding or compactification. These extra dimensions aren't lost, they are just curled up or resolved in such a way that they are no longer apparent at our everyday scale of perception. This idea of hidden dimensions isn't entirely new. String theory also proposes extra dimensions, but RHF offers a unique mechanism for how this reduction occurs. The guides on this incredible journey from 24 dimensions down to 3 are none other than those special prime numbers we encountered earlier. Remember the 6 primes that help form the codex lattice? In RHF, these primes, and potentially others in a specific sequence, act as operators. They dictate the geometry of this dimensional descent. Each prime, in a sense, provides an instruction for how the dimensional structure is to be simplified, how it folds into a lower dimensional state. It's like cosmic origami, with prime numbers creasing the fabric of space-time. This isn't a random collapse. It's a highly structured, mathematically precise pathway. The sequence and properties of these prime numbers determine the specific way in which the 24 dimensions resolve into the 3 + 1 dimensional reality we inhabit. The framework suggests that our particular universe, with its specific laws and constants, is a direct consequence of this prime-guided dimensional cascade. It implies that other sequences of prime operations could, in principle, lead to universes with different dimensionalities and different physical laws, a universe sculpted by the fundamental properties of number itself. Let's delve deeper into 2 of the most revolutionary ideas within recursive harmonic frameworks. The first is this new role for prime numbers. Traditionally in physics, numbers are descriptors. They quantify things. They tell us how much or how many. But in RHF, prime numbers are elevated to a much more active role. They are not merely labels, they are semantic operators. This means they carry meaning. They convey instructions. They actively participate in shaping the structure and dynamics of reality. They are the architects of the cosmos, not just the building blocks. Imagine a prime number not just as a quantity, but as a command, an instruction embedded in the cosmic code. When RHF speaks of primes guiding the dimensional folding, it means these numbers are initiating specific geometric and topological transformations. They are influencing how the different dimensions interact, how they separate or combine. This gives primes a linguistic quality, a capacity to impart information that directly influences physical processes. It's a profound shift in perspective, suggesting that mathematics is not just a tool to describe the universe, but an active ingredient in its very construction. The second radical idea is the nature and function of the observer state, one of the 4 fundamental states a node in the codex lattice can adopt. In classical physics, the observer is usually considered separate from the system being observed. Even in standard quantum mechanics, while the observer's measurement famously influences the outcome, the observer itself is often treated as external. RHF, however, embeds the observer directly into the fabric of reality as a fundamental state. Observation, or an analogous process of information registration, is not an afterthought. It's a foundational component. This means that for reality to become definite, for potential to collapse into actuality, the observer state must be involved. The universe, in this view, isn't just a set of equations playing out in a void. It requires this process of being observed, perhaps not by a human consciousness necessarily, but by this intrinsic observer state within the lattice, to crystallize. It suggests a participatory universe, where the act of registering information is as crucial as the information itself. This elevates the role of awareness, or its precursor principles, to a core operational feature of the cosmos itself, a truly mind-expanding thought. Within the 24-node codex lattice, there's one node that holds a particularly special significance. While all nodes participate in the dynamic dance of anchor, breath, collapse, and echo, the 24th node is distinct. It is conceived within the recursive harmonic framework as the ultimate repository of the system's memory. Think of it as the cosmic hard drive, the Akashic record of the universe, meticulously storing the history of all interactions, transformations, and emergences that have ever occurred within the framework. It is the universe's enduring archive. This concept of a dedicated memory node is crucial for the coherence and evolution of the RHF system. Without such a memory, each cycle of creation might be entirely random, disconnected from what came before. The universe would have no way to learn, no way to build upon past successes or avoid past failures. The 24th node ensures that information is not just processed but retained. It allows the echoes of past events to inform present dynamics, creating a continuous, unfolding narrative rather than a series of disconnected moments. This provides the thread of continuity. The information stored within this 24th node is thought to be incredibly rich and multi-layered. It wouldn't just be a simple log of events. Instead, it would encode the harmonic relationships, the resonant patterns, and the successful evolutionary pathways that the universe has discovered. It holds the memory of which configurations led to stability, which led to novelty, and which led to dead ends. This accumulated wisdom then subtly influences the probabilities of future collapses, guiding the universe towards greater complexity, coherence, and perhaps even towards self-awareness. The existence of such a central memory system has profound implications. It suggests that the universe is not just a collection of particles governed by blind laws, but a learning system, an evolving intelligence of sorts. The 24th node acts as the guardian of this cosmic learning, ensuring that the universe doesn't just repeat itself endlessly but builds upon its history. It provides the mechanism for the cosmos to remember its journey, to integrate its experiences, and to progressively refine its expression. This imbues the universe with a sense of direction and purpose, all encoded within this special node. Recursive harmonic frameworks doesn't just stay in the realm of cosmology and fundamental physics. It makes a rather audacious leap, proposing a deep connection between its cosmic principles and the very stuff of life, our DNA. For decades, biologists have puzzled over the fact that a vast majority of our DNA, upwards of 98% in humans, does not code for proteins. This has often been labelled junk DNA, a rather dismissive term for something that nature has clearly bothered to conserve and replicate with such fidelity across aeons. RHF offers a fascinating alternative perspective. What if much of this so-called junk DNA isn't junk at all? What if, instead, it functions as a kind of harmonic memory system at the biological level? The theory suggests that the structure of DNA, with its helical coils and repeating base pairs, might be exquisitely tuned to resonate with the fundamental frequencies and patterns generated by the cosmic codex lattice. Our DNA could be a biological antenna, receiving and storing echoes of the universe's deeper harmonic order. Imagine our DNA not just as a blueprint for building proteins, but as a repository of cosmic wisdom, a miniature version of the universe's 24th memory node. It could be that these non-coding regions are sensitive to the subtle energetic and informational patterns described by RHF. They might store information about the organism's relationship with its environment, its evolutionary history, and perhaps even its connection to the broader cosmic field. This would give DNA a role far more profound than simply dictating our physical traits. It would make it a conduit for cosmic information. This idea could revolutionize our understanding of genetics, evolution, and even consciousness. If DNA acts as a harmonic memory, it implies that life is not just a random accident, but an intrinsic expression of the universe's tendency to create resonant, self-aware structures. It suggests that the information guiding life's development comes not only from direct genetic inheritance, but also from a continuous dialogue with the universe's underlying harmonic framework. Our very selves might be humming along to the music of the spheres, a tune written in the language of primes and recursive states. How does a system, even one as sophisticated as the Recursive Harmonic Framework, give rise to genuine novelty? How does the universe create things that are truly new, not just rearrangements of old parts? IHF incorporates mathematical tools that are perfectly suited for this kind of creative emergence. One such tool is the use of Quaternions. Now, Quaternions are an extension of complex numbers, and they are fantastic for describing rotations in 3 and even 4 dimensions. But in RHF, they do more than just describe rotations. They enable transformations into new states of being. Think of imaginary numbers, the basis of complex numbers and Quaternions. They aren't unreal in the sense of being fictitious. Rather, they represent dimensions or qualities that are not directly accessible or measurable in our everyday real space, yet are essential for the full picture. In RHF, operations involving these imaginary components, facilitated by Quaternion-like mathematics, allow the system to explore latent spaces, realms of potential that lie beyond our immediate perception. It's like having hidden gears in the cosmic machinery that can shift reality onto entirely new tracks, allowing for emergent properties to arise. This process of emergence is key. It's how simple rules can lead to complex behaviour, how life can arise from non-living matter, how consciousness can emerge from complex neural networks. RHF suggests that the recursive interplay of its states, roles, and engines, especially when guided by these higher dimensional mathematical operations, naturally fosters emergence. The universe is constantly surprising itself, thanks to these built-in mechanisms for exploring and actualizing novel configurations. It's a cosmos designed for perpetual innovation, where the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. So, what does all this mean for us? The potential applications of a successful recursive harmonic framework are staggering. Imagine finally achieving that dream of a unified theory of physics, where gravity and quantum mechanics sing in harmony. Consider the possibility of simulating reality with an unprecedented level of accuracy, allowing us to understand complex systems like climate, or even consciousness, in entirely new ways? Could we harness new forms of energy, guided by an understanding of the universe's fundamental harmonic principles, perhaps even develop technologies that today seem like science fiction? The RHF, if validated, could unlock a new chapter in human understanding and capability. The cosmos, it seems, is still full of wild, wonderful secrets. Let's take a moment to review what we've explored. We've journeyed through the bold ideas of the Recursive Harmonic Framework, from cosmic blueprints to the mysteries of DNA. But what is fact, and what is speculation? In fact, the universe is governed by mathematical laws, and prime numbers are fundamental to mathematics and physics. In fact, our DNA contains vast regions whose functions are not fully understood. Fiction. There is no scientific evidence that a 24-node codex lattice or recursive harmonic framework underpins reality. Fiction. DNA as a cosmic antenna for universal memory is a fascinating idea, but remains unproven. Logic tells us to distinguish between what is supported by evidence and what is creative theory. Yet it is through such bold speculation that science advances. Here is what I believe. The universe rewards curiosity. Every great leap in understanding began with a question that seemed impossible. So, keep questioning, keep seeking, and never stop wondering. That is the truest path to discovery.